Hey, what's up? This is Jay Crimson from the Crimson Cult Podcast. If you are interested in starting your own podcast like me, there's no place to go but Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the best and easiest way to make a podcast. You can trim, edit, add music, add background noises, whatever, all on your phone. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thanks for listening.
Hello.
Hey, what's happening, Jim?
What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the cult? This is Kirk Windstein, vocalist and guitarist of Crowbar and guitarist of Down. How are you today, sir?
Doing well, thank you.
Excellent. Welcome to the cult.
Thank you, man.
So it is 30 degrees here in Michigan.
It's in the 50s and raining in New Orleans, so it's kind of, for us, yesterday was like 70 and sunny. So we've been hitting this. It's been either cold and shitty or like nice, warm and sunny. So
Right.
a little bit of everything. But tomorrow's supposed to start clearing up a bit tomorrow. That Sunday's supposed to be nice. So all
Excellent.
good.
So, a little bit of the history. Victorian Blitz in 1985, huh?
Yep, we officially started in 84, but I think our first gig was in early 85.
So, Victorian Blitz was a cover band?
We had a lot of originals as well, but back then, in the metal, quote unquote metal scene, the only way you could play was to do covers and throw in your originals,
Right. I always thought that was strange, being in a band myself. What covers did you do?
Well, we were different than all the other metal bands, honestly, because we were the first in town to do shit like Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer, Motorhead, Twisted Sister, except, Anthrax, shit like that. Everybody else was doing, Poison and Rat and Motley Crue and whatnot. So we kind of, it didn't last that long. It was a great ride while it was happening, but we were just like, the booking agent at the time, really nice guy, but he had a monopoly on all of the clubs. And if you didn't, you had to play certain songs or the clubs wouldn't book you. And we just got to the point where we refused to play those songs, and the band just kind of fell apart, and I moved on from there.
Right. That's kind of how it is around here too. So Shell Shock was a hardcore band, right to the Slugs in 1990, and then Crowbar in mid-91 formed.
Yeah, really. I mean, Slugs were Crowbar. We changed the name. But the songs actually, I think the first, Waiting in Silence off of Obeas Who Suffer was the first song for Slugs/Crowbar, and that was written probably like in early 89 or something.
And I read somewhere that you guys considered that one kind of like a glorified demo. So, and that's why the second record, self-titled, you considered your first record?
First real record. I mean, there's certain songs of Obedience that I really liked, but we were still in a transitional period of we were at one point before with the Slugs. It was Shell Shock, then for a very short time it was Aftershock, but it was much more thrash type, music, because that's what I was used to playing.
Right.
And me and Jimmy Bauer just got heavily into rediscovering Sabbath and Trouble and the Melvins and St. Vitus and all the slow parts and Carnivore, and then it just kind of we kind of went into a different direction. So the Through Suffering still had elements of thrash that that are no longer. I mean, anytime Crowbar plays fast now, it's hardcore. It's not thrash type stuff,
Right. So, are you backing down officially?
Yes.
Excellent. I watched the live stream, the anniversary show. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, man. We had a blast. It was a lot of hard work, relearning the stuff, and honestly, I had to relearn how to even play the style of down because I hadn't played it in, over 7 years at that point. I had only done Crowbar and a bit of Kingdom of Sorrow. So, but it was great. It was great to be back jamming with the dudes, and the 25th anniversary NOLA show was classic. It was really, really great.
Excellent. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I know the fans did too. So you released a solo album, Dream in Motion, about 1 year ago?
Yeah, it came out January 24th of last year.
Why a solo album, if you don't mind?
Something to do. And the thing is, I listen to so many different styles of music, and I'm influenced by so many different styles of music that, I just wanted to branch out a bit. I mean, there's a riff here and there that could have been on Crowbar, but it's just something I do. I mean, I'm not the kind of dude to sit around and run scales on a guitar or whatever. If I pick up the guitar, I'm going to write something, and that's just the way I've always been.
Right.
And so for me, it was just, it actually took 2 years to complete the solo record because I was just doing it in between tours with Crowbar. We were, before all this pandemic shit, we were a very heavily, touring band. I mean, we'd go out for 5 weeks and come home for 3 or 4 and go back out for a month and, at least 6 months out the year, 6 to 7 months out the year, we'd be on the road. And so in between all of that, I would kind of decompress and then, write some stuff and get back in the studio with the solo thing. So it started in June of 2017, and we wrapped it up at the end of June 2019.
Excellent. So do you have any favorite tours that you've done with Crowbar over the years?
I mean, early on, we were lucky enough to do 2 tours with Pantera, so those were probably the biggest, and and some of the the favorite, I guess. There's just a lot of fun. But I mean, we've toured. We've been support with for Pantera. I mean, I think we did in the same year we did Morbid Angel. We did Paradise Lost in Europe, which was like a long 42 date. We had everywhere. For us, it was our first, even though we had gone to Europe in December of '92, the Paradise Lost tour, the first tour was primarily Germany. I think we only played Germany, the Netherlands, and maybe one show in Belgium. But with Paradise Lost, I mean, we started in Italy, and we played everywhere. And then including, Finland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, France, Italy. I don't think we played Spain, but, we did Slovenia, you name it, Poland, Czech Republic. I mean, we had all the spots that we had never been to before. So it was, for us, a real, a great experience. And then, I mean, we've supported Sacred Reich, which was a great, back in the early days. That was our first long U.S. tour. It was like a 3-month proper tour that we had the entire country. So we've had the pleasure of supporting a lot of bands, a lot of great bands, and it's been awesome.
Yeah. How did Down come to be? I know I've read some things, but how did you become involved with Down?
Basically, just being friends with the guys, and then Phil called me. He's like, dude, he goes, I want to do a side project of, something completely different from our other bands. Crowbar's first album was already out at the time. COC. The first Down demos and shit were recorded in '91, so it was a long time ago. But Pepper had already been in COC, and I know God Boys from Hell had already been out, and Pantera were getting established real quick when we first got together with it. But we just wanted to do something different because we all listen to so many different styles of music. In fact, these days I don't even think any of us listen to much heavy stuff. It's just, we listen to, for myself, speaking of myself, for myself or whatever, I listen mainly to 70s and 80s stuff, tend to actually, listen to the older band's newest records. I mean, like in my cassette thing, not cassette, Jesus, CD player. I have like Judas Priest, Firepower. I have the new Accept in there. I listen to. I'm more likely to listen to older bands' newest records than I am to discover a new band. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of time to, like when you're young, that's part of the whole thing is discovering new bands. And it's kind of like, when we tour or we play a festival, if I see a band that I really dig, then that's cool, but, I don't really, if people are like, who's your favorite new band out there? I don't really have one. Honestly, I've been listening to a lot of hardcore too. I try to pick in my little CD player. I know I got Sick of It All, and I got the newest Mad Paul record, which I think is killer.
Nice.
So a little bit of everything. I mean, like when I listen to heavy stuff, it's usually, like I said, older bands or their newer stuff, or I can never get tired of Motorhead and Priest and stuff like that, except
hell no.
Twisted Sister. I mean, that's all the stuff I grew up on. Those were also my favorite bands. But I mean, I'm also, heavily into Thin Lizzy and UFO and stuff like that. So anything classic rock, I mean, I'm game with Fleetwood Mac, the Eagles, you name it,
Right, that's how I am too.
Yeah, if it's great music, it's great music. I mean, that's just how I feel. I mean, music is music, and I think when I was younger, I was a lot more. I mean, being a kid, I mean, I'm going on 56 years old. I was born in 1965, so in the 70s. I mean, I grew up on 70s FM rock radio, and those are the bands that I like. Those are the albums that I bought, and it just developed. But I mean, I can honestly say in high school I was pretty closed-minded. If it wasn't metal, I didn't want anything to do with it. And as I got older, just like being a picky eater when I was young, now I eat pretty much anything. And same thing musically, I was so focused on only metal that if it wasn't metal to me, it sucked. And then as I got older, I opened my mind to everything. So music is music. If it's good, it's good, and if it's bad, it's bad. So I just like good music.
That's how it's been. I think that's like a universal type of changing of the guard thing as you get older.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, most people I know feel the same way. It's like, I was just listening to Brothers Johnson 20 minutes ago. So,
right.
It can be anything, as long as it's great music, it's great music.
What are some of your more memorable shows or festivals that you've played with Down?
Well, I mean, with Down, festival-wise, the first time we went to Europe, we were the surprise band at Download. Like we weren't mentioned. And we actually opened up the main stage, at like 11 in the morning, and we thought that ain't gonna be anybody there. We ended up having about 60,000 people, at 11 in the morning. So that was a really memorable show. But for me, with Down, as far as show-wise and all, I mean, we were lucky enough to do a bunch of stadiums with Metallica as direct support for Metallica in the summer of 2008, and then we did the first leg of the Death Magnetic tour here in the States. We started in Arizona, and our leg of the tour ended in New Orleans at the Smoothie King Center, where what's the Pelicans now used to be the Hornets, the way the basketball team plays. And so for me, that was like probably one of the biggest shows of my career, because it was a hometown show opening for Metallica in a 18,000 seat arena.
That's awesome.
That was really big and memorable.
It sounds like it'd be memorable, man.
And James Hetfield got up and did Bury Me in Smoke with us, so that was great.
That's awesome. I know he's always been a big COC fan too. I always see him with the shirt.
Him and Pep are good friends.
Right. So, speaking of guitar players, who's your favorite guitarist of all time?
There's a couple. I mean, Ace Frehley is who got me started playing guitar. And then it moved from Ace kind of to Eddie Van Halen, who, of course, I've always admired. I mean, Ace, I solo-wise, it's been a big inspiration on me. I mean, Michael Schenker and Gary Moore are definitely two of my favorite guitarists of all time, like as far as, technical guys. I've never been too much into although I appreciate the fuck out of it, I've never been too much into Ingve and stuff like that. It's just not, I couldn't play that, number one, and number two, even if I could, it doesn't really interest me. That's just me, but of course I appreciate the man's ability on a guitar. I went and saw him at the House of Blues, last time he was in town. My wife and I went, and I'm glad I saw him. After 5, 6, 7 songs, it was kind of like, okay, I get it, but I'm glad I saw him. He was unbelievable. But for me, I'm more into Michael Schenker, Gary Moore, Ace really, and Eddie Van Halen are probably and definitely on my top, 5, 6. I'm a big Robin Trower fan when it comes to electric blues.
I was just gonna mention him.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites for sure. A big influence. I love Billy Gibbons. I love bluesy guys. Dimebag, of course, as far as the metal guitars, is one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion. Big fan of sax playing. It goes on and on, but, for me, it's more the old school guys.
Nice. Do you have a favorite guitar you like to use when it comes to Crowbar opposed to down or vice versa?
Yeah, with down, my go-to is white Gibson Explorer that I use on the Livestream. With Crowbar, now I'm endorsed with Solar guitars, which I love them. So I have two of the Explorer body ones, and I love them. So that's what I'll be playing on this upcoming Crowbar Livestream. But over the years, I've used a lot of different stuff. Now, in the studio on this latest Crowbar album, myself and Matt Brunson, our other guitar player in Crowbar, we both used my white Explorer. I had it set up to be standard to Crowbar. We both use it just because it plays and sounds great. That's probably my favorite guitar in my arsenal, but for Crowbar, from here on out, pretty much. My Iceman that I have, I was using as my main guitar with Crowbar for a good while. That's actually in Germany right now. It's at my buddy's house. For me, I guess that white Explorer is my favorite guitar.
Do you use EMG pickups?
I do have EMGs in that, but I have Fishman in one of my Destroyers, and in my Ibanez Destroyer, Ibanez Iceman. Now, I'm also I guess I am like a fan of active kind of. It just depends. My wife had my old 1984 Charvel redone for me basically, and it's got a Duncan distortion in it, and it sounds killer.
Ooh.
And I'm having my '78 Les Paul custom redone, but I think I'm gonna drop in. I have old Bill Lawrence USA like Dime use in the bridge position. I think I'm gonna drop that in there. The guy's been having it for I guess a week and a half, but it's gonna take him a while to get it done. It needs a lot of work. Completely gutted, all new hardware, the whole 9 yards, new frets, you name it. So it's gonna be a work for the guy restoring it for me, but those will probably end up being the Charvel and the Gibson. Les Paul will probably end up being studio guitars for me for Crowbar.
Oh yeah.
They play great, they sound great, but I don't want them to leave. I don't want to take them on the road. That's the beauty of having a lot of guitars and then having an endorsement with a great company like Solar. If I can take those out on the road. If something happens, I'm sure I can, to one, I'm sure I can get another one from the guys, and I'm looking forward, of course, to getting on the road and doing that.
Yeah, for sure. So what brand of strings and gauge?
I use PR strings. I use 13 to 56 with a wound third string for Crowbar, and for down I use 10 to 52 light top heavy bottom DR. I've been endorsed with them for a long time. And they work for me. A lot of people are like, oh, you should try this. I'm like, I have a good relationship with the company, and they've treated me great for, a zillion years, so I have no need to change.
So let's see here. So you went from Randall amps to Marshall amps, and now you're at Orange?
Actually, I'm back to Randall.
No kidding.
From Randall to Orange. Now with down it was different, and I tried forever. The thing is, Orange is fantastic for down. Although on the live stream, I used Randall on the live stream. Never used Orange, but he uses Orange with COC as well.
Yeah.
So he used basically a COC setup, for down. But I use Randall's. That's basically all I'm using now, which is what I started out with in the beginning of Crowbar. I mean, from the late '80s, I guess about '88, '89 on, and then I just when down was my main band. And we got the endorsement with Orange. I love them, and they're fantastic for down, but it's just not Crowbar's tone. It's just different. So, I still have some Orange amps, and I mean, I think they make great stuff. But it's just, I went back to square one, basically. I went full circle with everything. I tried every fucking thing they make, and I ended up back with the old RG100ES Randalls.
Right. So what kind of pedals do you use in the studio opposed to out on tour?
My rig is the same for the studio and on the road. And
you like to keep it that way?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's always been. I mean, a lot of guys are different. And with down, it depends. I mean, on down 2 and on down 3 over the under, I don't even know how many different amplifiers we use. We had everything. I mean, literally 10 different amps. We use different amps on every song, different amps for solos, But, I mean, for me with Crowbar, it's like we have one tone, and that's the Randall, or, Randall head. And I use a metal zone, but before everybody goes, ooh, and bitches about it, I use it as a clean boost. So all I do is put the level on 10, I put the drive on 0, and I keep the EQ at 12 o'clock. So the equalization is actually not even engaged. It's just a clean boost. Like if you turn the pedal off, it sounds good, but when you stomp on it and it comes on, it just tightens it up. It doesn't give it any more overdrive because I keep the distortion on 0. It just tightens up the tone, and I mean, I've tried every fucking pedal. I've had people make me custom pedals that were supposed, nothing works like the metal zone, and people can laugh all they want, but it works for me, and that's all I care about. So.
Nice. I don't know if you're going to remember this or not. You probably won't, but my band, No Class Assassins, opened up for Crowbar and Prong at Harpos in Detroit in April in 2012.
2012, yeah. I mean, I remember playing. I remember the Prong tour, and I do remember playing. I remember. I've been to Harpos 100 times, so it's hard to distinguish one to the other. But yeah, I definitely remember the tour. That was a great tour. It really was.
Yeah, I had Mike DeLeon from the Illegals on my last podcast, and
awesome.
Yeah, he was saying how when they did the Harpos Pantera show, that it was one of their favorite shows of the tour.
I'm sure. I mean, as much as I love the place, it's a love-hate thing with Harpos. I haven't been there in a couple of years, and hopefully last time we were there, it was literally holes in the ceiling. It was freezing cold, rain coming in. And the problem is, you put a band like Crowbar in a 3,000-seat venue, and it's like, okay, that's, we're not, that doesn't work if we're headlining. But, we've played there, over the years with a lot of bands, and, back in the day, in the early 90s, it didn't make a difference who the fuck played. It was back, and, we played there so many times, but Down played there quite a few times, and, for Down, it was perfect. We usually always sell it out, and, it was a great, the thing I love about it most is the history of it. Like, I'm the kind of dude, I go look at the little sign on the side of the stage with all the bands, like, fucking Frank Marino and Mahoney Rush and all this shit from way back in the 70s, stuff that I love that I played on that stage. pretty much everybody that's rock and roll and metal is playing at Harpos at one time or another since the place has been around. So I love the history of places. Like if we're on tour with a band, like when we toured with Kill Switch Engage a couple of years ago, I love playing. My favorite venues to play are the old theaters because they're so old and there's so much history. So like before doors open, I usually grab a beer and a lot of times I'll just go sit just some random seat in the fucking venue and just check it all out and soak it all in because there's so much history there. Those kind of places are a lot of fun to play. They usually sound great and it's just got a cool vibe. I mean, so I like the old theaters, more than, even supporting arenas or the big open air stuff or anything.
Yeah, I noticed Pepper must feel the same way because he had a Corrosion live album there.
Yep.
And Hatebreed did their DVD there.
Yep. I mean, that's yes. I mean, it's perfect. Like if Down were to do a live DVD, that would be a great spot to do it.
It would be.
But I did. That's what I mean. I love the history of those places, man. That's what it's all about. I mean, and that's just me. That's the way I am. I mean, I'm such a, to me, I mean, I'm almost 56 years old, but I might as well be 13 years old. I mean, that's just the way I feel.
I know what you mean.
Music.
Me too.
Yeah, it's like, the passion. I mean, look, if you don't have the passion anymore, then quit doing it. And I mean, same thing for guys at home just playing for fun. If they're passionate about their playing, that's wonderful. But really more so for touring bands or recording bands. If you don't absolutely love it and get butterflies before you go on stage and get emotional and just feel the vibe and everything, and think to yourself how lucky and blessed you are to be doing what you're doing, then if you can't feel that, then in my opinion, you should just step down, that's what it's all about, is the passion and love of music.
Right. I remember the first time I met you, it was real quick. It was you downplayed at the Machine Shop, and I had, as a local musician, you try to seek out your hero. So I seeked you guys out, and remember me, my guitar player, and my bass player. We went there. We didn't even have tickets for the show. We just went there hoping we'd run into one of you guys and give you one of our CDs because we had just gotten it done, I think, and we were real proud of it. And our dreams was to be on, Phil's label Housecore and shit like that. Just being a big, long-time fan. So it was nice out, and I remember seeing you by the bus, and you're like, "Thanks a lot, man," and that good old Kirk voice you got.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember hanging out. I think I remember the show because I think we played with Down. We might have played that twice, but I remember the weather being good, and we were all hanging out outside the bus, and of course Phil's in charge, and that day he was like, Is it beer? Is it time for a beer yet? And I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, you know what? Let's just everybody grab a beer, man. Let's the weather's great. Let's have a great show. Let's have a good time. So,
hell yeah.
Now I actually love that place. That place sounds, the crew guys and all, everyone, the staff and the crew there really treat us great. And I actually have a Machine Shop T-shirt that I wear quite a bit. And my wife's got what you got, a flannel on? Yeah, a Machine Shop flannel shirt. That she wears a lot, but it sounds so good on stage there. It's loud as fuck, but it's a really good mix. I love that place.
Hell yeah. I heard something about a Down covers album. Is that really happening?
EP, yeah. It is. We just need to agree on what 6 songs we want to cover. Phil has the final word because it's got to be stuff he's comfortable singing,
It's going to be an EP?
Yes, I would probably do like 6 songs. The thing is, we want to do, we don't want to do the obvious and do fucking, Black Sabbath and, whatever,
Right.
You know what I mean? We want to do shit that's obscure, but at the same time, it's got to be stuff that fits, fits Down's style. And, so for us, it's going to be, it'll be a lot of fun. We really need to agree on songs. In fact, I talked to our manager, Snake Sabo from Skid Row Managers Down, and I actually talked to him.
No shit.
Day before yesterday.
Nice.
And he's up in Long Island. And he's finished snow blowing sister thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, we were talking a bit about the EP. I said, dude, it's really just up to us agreeing on the songs and then getting together and doing it.
I know Sil had said in an interview about it being like 4 EPs.
Right.
And
that's what the initial idea was.
The initial idea. And then, so this covers one would be a part of that?
I'm guessing, I mean, you know, I was out of the band for 7 years. So, you know, I kind of lost touch with everything, business-wise and stuff like that. So I would think that this would be the third EP of 4. I mean, the whole EP idea was really because it takes us so long to do a full-length record, even when we were, you know, when it was everyone's main thing. Still took some time, you know. You know, like the writing of Over the Under was a very long process, and then we demoed it all, and then we recorded in 3 different studios out in the LA area, and of course we liked the demos better. So, you know, I remember reading an interview or hearing an interview with Tom Petty, and he's like, I'll never do a demo tape again. Not tape, you know, but a demo again in the studio. He goes, every time I do it and I go try to recreate it, I end up, you know, liking the demo better. So he goes, when I go into the studio now, it's not a demo. You know, to some people it might be, to the engineer, the producer, whatever, but to me, I'm going to make the fucking record. We're going to lay down a song. You know, that's going to be it. So we kind of got that way because we really took our time on the demos for Over the Under. I mean, they were properly recorded and, you know, sounded really good. Not good enough to be an album, but they sounded really good. And, you know, we took a lot of time with it. It wasn't just like a jam room tape, you know, with one mic or something, you know, capturing everything. But that's kind of how we do it now with this tape, you know, for jamming. Well, I mean, I haven't written with it in a good while, but for same thing with Crowbar, we'll just, you know, turn somebody's phone on video or something, you know, and record it or whatever, because, you know, you don't want to take too much time on a demo tape and then basically get married to it, and then you gotta go, fuck, you know, the demo version's better. You know, what do you do? But the sound quality is not good enough to put out as an album, so you kind of fucked.
Right. So Crowbar's playing a live stream, and you've been practicing up for it?
Yep, I'm actually heading there in about a half hour. I got to change strings on one of these Solars and get ready to rock. So, yeah, we're jamming today and tomorrow. Again, we jammed last night, so we have a nice set list. And, you know, we got some work to do. The show's not till the 20th, but, you know, we got some work to do. We've done 2 live streams with Crowbar. So each one we try to bring in, you know, 2, 3, 4 kind of newer things, you know, or different things. So on the second one, we brought in some songs, stuff we hadn't even played, you know, in forever, you know. And on
That's
this
cool.
one, we're throwing in a few surprises, and we're kind of mixing up the set list from the first and second, because there's so many songs that we feel that we have to play, you know, or our fans will be disappointed. And, you know, we're only doing, you know, an hour and 10 minutes or whatever it is. So it's kind of, you know, it's difficult. I mean, when, you know, more than half the set are what we consider to be songs that you know, fan favorites, just, you know, ones that we have to do. You know, so we're trying to it's hard to please everybody. In fact, you can't please everybody. So we're just doing our best to give everybody a few surprises and stuff we've never done before. And, you know, and I'm excited for it, man.
I'm excited for it, too. It should be killer.
Absolutely.
Is Mike Holderbeast running that one?
He will be in charge of all filming, yes. We'll have Holderbeast doing it, and then Eddie Muscles Map, as he's known, will be doing, he did the down sound, and he did the second live stream, Crowbar live stream, and then Dwayne Simino, who owns the studio, and he's our producer. He'll be helping Eddie with everything sound-wise. So Dwayne did the first one, although he's not much, I mean, he's a studio guy, you know, 1,000%, and he's great at it. But live sound is Eddie's thing. Even though he recorded, and I guess, co-produced or whatever, a couple of Black Label albums in the studio. I mean, Eddie's great in the studio side. I think everything's going to be great. We're definitely upping it a few notches, production-wise, mainly, by hiring Mike and his crew of guys for this one because, we felt, hey, it might only be $9 or whatever, but, the first two went great. They were great. We were really happy with them, but we figured we'd try to bring it up a few notches, as far as the whole experience, and with Mike and his crew, visually, it should be great. And with Eddie and Dwayne, sonically, I know it's going to be great.
Nice. I'm trying to get hold of Beast on here. I've talked to him a little bit.
Yeah, he's a great guy, man. He really is.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy. Let's see here. Name a time you've been starstruck.
Okay. 2014, we're on E1 is our label, and Ace Frehley's on the same label. Well, Robin and I flew out to LA to do the Golden Gods thing and the walk, the black carpet they call it, and so we go to there, and I'm talking to my publicist, Bill Meese, and he's like, yeah, Ace is upstairs, floor above you or something. I'm like, Ace is here? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, in fact, I got you guys sitting at the same table. And I'm like, oh my God.
No.
And literally, we walk in, and we're meeting everybody. I mean, you do a little black carpet thing, which is really cool. You do a few quick interviews, and we're meeting everybody. And I see Dee Snider, and I've met him quite a few times. He's a great guy, one of my big heroes. And he's interviewing Alice Cooper, and he kind of in between stuff, kind of acknowledges, gives me a wave. So I'm like, hey. And, we meet with George Lynch, and there's Doug Pinnick from King's X, and Mike Portnoy, and all these guys hanging out. And so we get inside, and I see Ace Frehley, and I'm like, oh my God, I was scared to actually go up to the freaking table. So Robin's like, I got this. She's like, hey, Mr. Frehley, it's my husband Kirk, whatever. So she actually introduced me to Ace Frehley.
Yeah, leave it up to the wife, huh?
I met Gene, exactly. I met Gene, a few times, and yeah, we got a great picture with Ace. Yep, and we saw we were able to get a meet and greet. We drove with some good friends to Pensacola to see Ace back in about 2018 or something, I guess. And since he's on the same label, Robin contacted the publicist, so he's like, "Yep, I can get y'all hooked up with the tour manager and and get y'all a meet and greet with Ace." So that was great. I wasn't nervous the second time, but the first time because that was one of the only times probably I would say that I was starstruck. I mean, even meeting Lemmy, who I was lucky enough to meet, quite a few times. At the very first time, yeah, of course. I mean, any guys like that. I mean, I met Michael Schenker. It's like any. Yeah, Robin said she was starstruck with George Lynch, which I mean, I'm a big fan, but yeah, Glenn Hughes, she was totally starstruck, bro. I mean, guys like that, when we played Grass Pop with Crowbar 2019, I guess it was.
Yep.
Paul Viano as well was kind of a starstruck thing because we're big fans of the early Maiden shit with Viano. But, most of them, guys like that, I mean, of course you're initially starstruck, but for me, the only person I was scared to go up and introduce myself to was Ace. So.
It's funny because I have a similar story. There was Glenn Danzig, and I was just like, I'll leave him be. And my girlfriend, of course, is the one pulling me towards him. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool thing, though, I mean, I guess, for Robin, not being, anywhere near as much of a fan. I mean, she loves Ace, but not like I do. So, for me, I was scared, and she was just, took the bull by the horn. She's like, fuck that, I'll go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you go, mama.
They got some special powers, don't they?
Absolutely.
So any more Kingdom of Sorrow ever?
Yes. In fact, I wrote a song about 2 weeks ago for Kingdom. I know Jamie and the Belmore brothers, Nikki and Charlie, are working on stuff. Charlie's got a couple of songs written.
Nice.
So yeah, we're looking at trying to complete the record in the spring probably, and hopefully have it out in the fall. So there's a lot going on. It's just, I mean, the new Crowbar has been completed for almost a year, and we're just waiting for the right time. We're probably going to end up putting that out in the fall, regardless whether we're able to tour or not, just because it's been long enough. But, we'll have a Kingdom out this year, the new Crowbar. New Acre last year, not that I have anything to do with it, but, just dealing with, working with Jamie, who manages Crowbar and me, basically. There's a lot of stuff going on, and we're keeping ourselves busy with these live streams. We've got a few other surprises, with different stuff coming up. There's a lot of when you got a lot of time to sit around and think, you come up with a lot of ideas of
right. Yeah, you do.
Busy, create some income, keep the fans happy, keep busy, whatever. So it's a never-ending cycle.
Hell yeah. Well, before I let you go, Kirk, what is your favorite movie?
I wouldn't say I have one favorite. It'd be very difficult. I'm more of an old school movie guy. I mean, especially like horror movies and stuff. I mean, I can't even watch. Like, if I watch 10 new horror movies, I'll be lucky if one of them is even half decent.
Right.
These newer ones. But I mean, I really don't have a one go-to favorite movie. Kind of same thing with me with music. I'm kind of open to anything. I mean, I'm more into drama and stuff like that. Old school horror stuff, of course. And I mean, I like the 70s and 80s comedies were great. I mean, it's hard to get a really good one these days. I guess when you get older, you start sounding like your fucking parents and shit with, oh yeah, back in the good old days. But I mean, that's just the way I feel about stuff. It's like, I don't hear groundbreaking new music from bands. I don't see groundbreaking new movies coming out. It's kind of difficult, for the most part. That's just my opinion, but that's that.
Yeah, I agree with that one. All right, Kirk, I'll let you get back to your practicing, and we'll be waiting for the live stream. Definitely something to look forward to.
February 20th, 4 o'clock Eastern. We'll be live from the New Orleans area.
Excellent. All right, man, you're one of my heroes. I really appreciate this.
That, bro.
And you have a good one, sir. May peace be with you.
You as well. Thank you.
Goodbye.